Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be recreating one of my old makeup looks. It is this rainbow, but let me see if I can zoom this in. It is this rainbow butterfly look that I did circa 2019. I think I remember this background. Do not remember how I did it, but we're going to figure it out together. So if you'd like to see me recreate this look, you can just keep on watching. So now that you're seeing all my sins and transgressions, I am going to be mixing my P. Louise Rumour Eye Base in 0 with my Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Maple, and I'm going to be using that to prime my eyes. I'm going to use this eye base to now carve out the shape of that butterfly wing down. So I think this is the shape, so let me now fill in the rest of my eyelid with this primer. I'm gonna go in with my ABH A6 brush and I'm going to just diffuse this eye base a little bit so it's not as tacky. So for the purple, I'm gonna go into the Narvina Pro Pigment Volume 1 and I'm gonna use shade B4, this purple shade right here, and I'm gonna go in with my P. Louise E7 brush and I'm gonna pick that up and let me get back my A6 brush and just blend out this eye base because it is creasing a little bit. I'm gonna pat that purple right in this inner corner of my eye, and I'm not blending right now, I'm just concentrating on getting this color all over that inner corner. Then I'm going to tap off the excess product of my brush and I'm going to just tap to blend out the edges of that purple a little bit so that when I put on the blue it doesn't look as stark. For the blue, I'm going to go in with the Pro Pigment Volume 2 and I'm going to take the shade B5 for this one. I'm going to do the same thing, just put that right beside that purple and concentrating on just packing on product. It doesn't matter if it's a little messy at the edges because you are going to be using eyeliner to outline this shadow. I'm going to tap off the excess product and I'm going to do some tapping motions to blend this into that purple. I'm going to go back to the brush I used with the purple and I'm going to tap to blend these two together. Now you have to be careful with blue and purples because they love to go muddy very fast, so that's why I'm not souping the product, I'm just tapping it together. And then I'm gonna go in with green. For the green, I'm going into Pro Pigment Volume 3 and I'm going to be using this shade right here, D3, and I'm going to be using the P. Louise E5 brush to just pack on this green. You can see that I haven't really used these palettes and I don't even remember how long these palettes have been out, but I really stopped doing makeup for a long time. I'll try and blend because I'm now going to go into yellow, and for yellow I'm going back to the Pro Pigment Volume 2 and I'm going into the shade, this is what, D4. Guys, my camera wasn't recording, so I used Pro Pigment Volume 2 to add the yellow and I'm now in Pro Pigment Volume 3 to add the orange shade. This orange is very pigmented. Yellow is so finicky, it stays on for as long as it wants to, but oh my gosh, it literally doesn't care about what you're trying to do. Alright, the final shade on this eye is going to be red, and for red I'm going back to Pro Pigment Volume 1 and I'm going into the shade D3 and I'm using the P. Louise E6 brush. Pat that into that outer part of mine. Then I'm just going to bring that over into the orange, pat that in, go back to the brush I was using for the orange and pat to mix these together. So that's the base of the wing complete. Now it's time to do some detail work. So this is what this eye should look like. I'm gonna be using my Ink Blot AMC liner along with some Duraline to get those lines. I'm gonna go in with my P. Louise E1 liner brush. Start from ooh, that looks so nice. Oh my gosh. Okay, there's another swoop that comes. Let me bring down this first. This comes down here and it goes in. Alright, so that is very nerve-wracking. There's another swoop that comes here and almost meets up with that bottom one. Okay, that was it. Did I do eyeliner? And I'm gonna just draw. I think I didn't do a wing. I just, well, obviously not. I just tightlined my eyes a little. I think when I'm finished, I'm gonna connect these two right here just to get a more cohesive look, but this looks good so far. All right, let me see what the other eye was. Okay, so the other eye, I used a different order of colors. I started with yellow and ended with green, but I'm gonna do that eye off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, so the other eye is complete. Now I'm gonna go in with some eye gems and I'm going to use that in place of using the white liner that I used on the outline of the wing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the gems in the reverse order that I have the colors on my eye instead of using the straight white. I might just use white on the inner part of the, I don't know what you call these things on butterflies, the swoopies. It sounds so weird. The swoopies. Alright, so let's just get this done. So I'm going in with some rhinestone glue. So the first color would be red. So one. Alright, so the next color is orange. I don't have orange, but I do have yellow, so I'm gonna just go straight to yellow. I'm gonna put this marigold yellow color in the middle. I'm gonna space these out a little bit more as I get out to the tail end of this. I'm gonna use the white for the inside swoopies. Oh, that looks so cute. Like, guys, I promise these are colored gems, but for some reason they're not being picked up on camera that well. But I'm going to rhinestone the other eye and then I'll be right back. So do you see this sparkle? I did not think that this would be that simple to create. I think the hardest part was making the loopies. Now I'm going to move on to my base and I'm going to zoom you guys back out so we can see what we're doing. So now that you're not that close to me, we're going to move on to our base. Now let me check this photo. In this photo, my base is very soft. It's full coverage. I know that for a fact. I did not wear anything except full coverage, but it doesn't seem like I'm wearing a lot of blush, a lot of contour. I look more bronzy than anything. So for primer, I'm gonna go in with the Maybelline Grippy Serum, and I did my brows before I started my makeup, but I did not conceal or carve them out. I just use my L'Oreal brow pen. I'm going to use my Maybelline Fit Me in 370. If I remember correctly, I was using Fit Me at that time as well because this was my first foundation. And I'm gonna go in with the Morphe M106 brush to blend that out. Knowing myself, I was a full coverage girly and I was using at least 2 pumps. Being very careful around here not to get any product on my gems. I'm gonna put a half pump on my forehead. It's more like a third than a half, but it's okay. For concealer, I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty We're Even Hydrating Longwear Concealer. This is the shade 450N, and I'm gonna place that right under my eye, a little in the center of my nose, down the bridge of my a little in the center of my forehead and down the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna let that dry down just a bit while I go in with blush. This is the Kim Cheeky Lip and Cheek Stick. This is in the shade number 5. I'm going to use the P. Louise F4 brush. It's this angled brush, and I'm gonna just, usually I like to bring my blush up to my temples, but that's not gonna work this time, so I'm just concentrating it on the apples of my cheek. And I'm not using too much because, like I said, that picture looks very much like it's a very small wash of color. For bronzer, I'm gonna go in with the ABH cream bronzer in cool brown, and I'm just using this angled bronzer brush. I look very bronzed in that photo, so let's see how best we can do this. I'm gonna go back to my foundation brush and I'm gonna blend that out around the edges just to prevent any harsh lines. I'm also going to go back to my blush brush and kind of blend these two together. I want this to be as soft as possible because the eyes are the focal point, not the base. To blend my concealer, I am going to go in with a little bit of the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist on my brush. This is the wrong brush. I'm gonna go in with the Albute 193 concealer brush. I'm gonna spritz it with a little bit of the Continuous Setting Mist. I'm gonna just blend this out, starting here, starting from the outer part of this concealer. I'm blending it up into my bronzer. I'm being very careful around my eyebrows. Then I'm going to go in with the Morphe M132 brush, a little bit of the Continuous Setting Mist, and I'm going to start blending my under eye, doing the same technique, starting from the edges, blending it down. And I have to be very careful that I don't mess up at this point. And I'm going to slowly bring that up underneath my eye. I love how this Fenty concealer blends out. It always blends out so beautifully. I'm gonna wipe off any excess products on a wipe so that I don't oversaturate my other eye. Go back in with my Continuous Setting Mist and I'm gonna blend the other eye. I'm gonna go back over the sides of my nose with my foundation brush just to blend that out a little because I'm not going to be contouring my nose. And then I go back with my concealer and do a little bit of a reverse contour here. Then back to my blush brush, just blend out the edges of this. To set my blush, I'm going in with the ABH Blush Trio in Berry Adore because this is more of a burgundy shade. So I'm going to use this shade called Velvet. I'm using the P. Louise F12 brush. Blush also has a little bit of shimmer in it, so that will kind of give me a little highlight. Ooh, that's pretty. And to set my bronzer, I'm going with the Juvia's Place Bronzing Duo and the Morphe 241 brush. I'm going in with this brown shade at the top. Well, like, they're both brown. Okay, they're both brown. And I'm gonna just put that anywhere I use my ABH cream bronzer. I'm gonna go back to my blush brush just to blend this together. So I've been letting my concealer sit a little bit so I can have it settle and I can see where it's creasing. It already is settling into my fine lines. Everybody has fine lines, it's just nature. So I'm now gonna tilt my head back and blend this out again. And what I've done is just pick up that excess product off of my face so that when I set it, it doesn't come out looking crazy. I'm gonna go in with a powder puff and the ABHD Peach Loose Setting Powder, and I'm gonna take a little bit of that powder, tap off the excess, tap it on the back of my hand. This is how much powder still came off after I tapped off the excess. Tilt my head back, see where that is creasing and blend it out once more. And then without looking down, I'm gonna go in with my powder. It's better to start with a little bit of powder and then work your way up. I'm making sure to bring this on the sides of my nose to give myself that reverse contour, because I'm not actually contouring my nose. And I'm setting the sides of my nose pretty good as well, because I do get some creasing around there. Putting a little bit of powder in my smile lines. And I'm gonna go back with my bronzer brush, and I'm not adding any product, I'm just buffing out the edges of that powder. And for the rest of my face, I'm going in with the CoverGirl Clean Invisible powder and the P. Louise F7 brush. And I'm gonna use that anywhere I didn't set with loose powder. I'm kind of bringing it over my blush and bronzer just to ensure everything blends together perfectly. I'm gonna go in with a large fluffy brush. This is the F8 from P. Louise, and I'm gonna make sure I brush away any excess powder. I'm gonna go in with the One Size Ultra Pink powder, and I'm gonna go in with the P. Louise F19 brush. It's a little teeny brush. I just want a little bit of brightness in my under eye area. I'm gonna just press that in, tap off the excess, and just press that into my under eye. I'm gonna tap off any excess, and then I'm gonna just swipe to get off any excess powder. For highlighter, I'm gonna use a Fenty Beauty Kilowatt in Water Beige and the P. Louise F6 brush. I'm gonna put a little bit of that where this wing ends. To melt all these powders in place, I'm gonna go in with the Morphe Contour Setting Mist, and I'm just gonna spritz my entire face. I love how this sprays. It doesn't get everywhere, and it doesn't let out some really big droplets that destroy your makeup. So I'm gonna let this dry down, and then I'm gonna come back and do my under eyes. To tightline my eyes, I went in with the NYX Epic Inky Sticks. This is in the shade Cobalt Click, and these go on so beautifully, guys. And I have sensitive eyes, and it did not cause my eyes to water. I'm gonna go back into the Norvina Pro Pigment Volume 1, and I'm gonna blend out my under eye with the purple and the pink from that palette. I'm gonna blend that into my under eye. Then I'm gonna go into the pink shade and blend this out. Remember to always tap off the excess, guys, because you do not want to mess up your base. If you're not confident in doing this without messing up your base, you can lay down a layer of powder, and that really does help catch any fallout. I am going to go back to my ink blot liner and Duraline, and I am going to connect my inner corner to this gem right here. So I'm essentially making a cat eye. Okay, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. I'm very glad for that, because I'm not so steady with my hands, so I was worried that I was gonna just mess up all of my hard work. To make this look a little bit more cohesive, I'm gonna go back in with my face gem and add one more each on either side of my eye. So I'm gonna curl my lashes, and then I'm gonna go in with mascara and lashes. For mascara, I'm gonna go in with the Fenty Beauty Hella Thick Cause I'm Black mascara on my top lashes, and the MAC Stack lashes on my bottom lashes. While my mascara dries down, I'm gonna go in with setting spray. And for setting spray, I'm going to use the One Size Until Dawn mattifying spray, because I want this to be a very matte look. I'm gonna shake this up, cover my eyes. Okay, I know people say that this smells like hairspray. I don't know why I didn't believe them. Oh my god. It doesn't smell bad, but that is a very strong smell. I'm gonna go in with the Lily Lashes in Miami self-adhesive. Alright, so that is lashes and eyes completed. For lips, this is kind of weird, because for lips I did this rainbow look with eyeshadow and lip gloss, but I'm not gonna be doing that. I'm so sorry, guys, I'm not gonna be doing that. So let me see what I'm gonna do. Let me just wipe off my lips. Do I want to do a pink look, or is that too much? Because there's not a lot of pink in this makeup look, a nudish look. Okay, what if I do a pinky nude? I am going to go with the pinky nude. I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Doppio Espresso lip liner. Let me see, do I want to, so this is a Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb Stick in the shade Hibiscus. Well, if I don't like it, I can just wipe it off. So let's just, okay, that was a good choice. I like this, guys. This looks beautiful. This looks so pretty. Okay, one last blast of setting spray and then I'm done. I'm gonna go in with the L'Oreal's Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. Oh god, I should probably do this outside, but okay. You have to hold your breath when you use this thing, guys, because this is, it doesn't smell as bad as people say it used to smell. They've kind of like added fragrance or something, but my gosh. So that is the finished look, and in my opinion this one turned out even better than the original. Just to give you a reminder, this is what the original look was, and if you do recreate this look, please tag me on Instagram or on TikTok at @VKNicole. That's KEA Nicole. You can also subscribe to this YouTube channel if you like these type of videos, and also you can follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the handles that I just gave. But thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.